Hello, welcome back to session number 5 of our VBODA 2020 All-State Trumpet Prepared Piece Tips. My name is Dr. Dalton Sora. I am Associate Professor of Music at the University of Virginia's College at Wise, where I teach a variety of things in addition to applied trumpet. Hopefully you've caught on to the rest of these videos. This is the 5th in the series. I'm imagining maybe a couple more of these before we wrap up the whole piece. I want to go piece by piece slowly and lead you through the process that I use to work up this etude. It's easy to pick it up and try to read right through it and keep reading and keep reading and keep reading, but that's not really the wise way to do it. So I'm looking at a systematic approach. We've looked at the marking accidentals, we've looked at intervals in the first section, we've looked at playing through the first section, the second section. Now we're on the home stretch at the very end here today. So we're going to be looking measure 17 to the end. And as we look through here, we see a lot of repeated material, repeated rhythms, repeated little sections, little phrases, some of the triple tonguing. And into measure 21, we have some of the similar type intervals as we go through, although he does change it by the end of the measure. We bring in the D to A flat that we've had in measure 14. So we start combining some ideas here. Probably the most challenging things in the final section that I see could be an 18. It's not really the intervals, but the octaves, to jump 2 octaves. That can be a little challenging, so we got to make sure the airflow is working correctly. Measure 21 and 22, intervals and articulation patterns. Those can be tricky. We're going to focus on those in just a moment. And also 24 and 25 as we press to the end of the piece. For the intervals, and honestly, for the breath, we got to figure out a good place to breathe to lead us to the very strong finish here. So I would recommend, first of all, let's take a look at measure 21 and let's look at intervals, and let's play slurring through everything, focusing on the airflow and taking the tongue out of the equation. So that was 21 into the first note of 22. Then I would go back again. Once you master that, get your air flowing, get your ears tuned into those intervals to what it's supposed to sound like. Let's go back and add the tongue. Luckily, Bob Wall has given us permission to tongue the top A flat. That was very nice of him, right? It changes the slur pattern, but it's actually convenient for us to help launch us, trampoline us up from that D up to the A flat this time. Right? Makes it a little easier. Okay, so I would recommend that you practice that a few times, pause the video, work on that measure a few times, and then we move on to 22. In 22, we're going to slur again. We keep returning to this A, the second space A, and that's going to be our home point here for a while. So let's slur through this, make sure everything's working well. Okay, if that works well, then we go on and add the articulations that are written. Notice I'm accenting these notes. This is just to kind of prove the point that I am articulating them. I'd recommend you do so in your practice, and as you speed that up, those accents will probably gradually fade away as you're working for finger dexterity, right? So we try to put those together now, 21 and 22. Only after you've mastered them individually shall we put them together. 21, 22, and the downbeat of 23. Slurred, no tongue. And then we go back through and we can add the tongue into it. Cool. Take some time, work on it until you get that mastered before you move on. The next section is 24. It's the next couple measures, 24, 25 into the end. We would do the same thing. Go through with slur pattern, no tongue. One measure at a time. Master that measure before you move on. 25. And if you need to articulate that top G a little bit there, that's fine. That's quite a large jump, right? From D up an octave and a fourth up to that G. Then we go back and put it together. See if we can slur, this is challenging, right? See if we can slur the whole thing from 24 to the end. Now we go back and add the articulation pattern. Pay careful attention to measure 25, beat 2. Once again, thanks Bob Wall for giving us the opportunity to articulate that higher D as we ascend the octave. Okay, so take your time. Work section by section, measure by measure, clicking the metronome up a couple clicks each time. I'd recommend that you master it, play it 3 times in a row at that tempo before you click it on up. Resist the urge to do it the fast, easy way. Let's do it the hard, difficult way, and that way it will stick, you'll develop good habits, and you'll be ready to go. So I think that's the end of the lesson here for today. Next session, we'll actually put it all together in the end. We'll look at the rhythm here and we'll piece together the final section, and then maybe one more episode after that in which we talk about just musicality and general approach to putting the whole piece together. Okay, hope these comments are helpful, and remember, don't clean your horn the day before the performance. Clean it now if you're going to clean it. Notice my beautiful shiny, here's an advertisement, you can't see it very well, but shiny new Shire's AF trumpet that I purchased about September this past year after playing one at the Trumpet Guild Conference in Miami in July. Fell in love with the horn, and was fortunate enough by September I was able to put my hands on one. So there's my commercial for Shire's. Best wishes in your practicing, and keep it up, and we'll see you soon.